I'm able to hear you. We'll kickstart it. Welcome everyone. We are excited to host you for today's session. Today we'll talk about how businesses can streamline and transform their time management processes completely using advanced technologies like artificial intelligence. I am Vivek Gopalpuria, Director of Product Marketing at Replicon, and I'm joined by my colleague Rajiv Borison, who is our solutions expert. Let's quickly look at the agenda for the day. We'll quickly take a look at the current state of time management and the problems associated with it and why a change is needed. We'll then look at some of the existing use cases that Replicon solves. But having worked with thousands of customers and with an expertise spanning 20 years in the industry, we understand that there can still be transformation, and we'll cover how we are utilizing artificial intelligence to take time management to the next level. And that will be followed by a quick demo. We'll then delve into benefits for customers using the time intelligence platform and answer any questions that come in. Before we dive right in, let us look at some of the housekeeping items. You will be on mute during the presentation, and there will be a Q&A session at the end. But if you have any questions at any time during the webinar, please feel free to submit them in the questions box, and we will make sure they are answered. All right. Why artificial intelligence? Why now? Why are we here today? It is obvious that artificial intelligence is here to stay. Its adoption and application has been exponentially growing. The number of startups, the VC backing, and the confidence being shown by enterprises in artificial intelligence is testimony to the fact. The impact of AI technologies on businesses is projected to increase labor productivity by up to 40% and enable people to make more efficient use of their time. So at Replicon, to enable businesses with this latest advanced technology, we started to look at what capabilities can be derived out of this booming market. Let us talk about a few that we are working on and we see tremendous potential. Our vision is to make time management as non-intrusive as possible and think that artificial intelligence has the potential to transform this important business process into something that can create and deliver benefits for organizations. But before we jump in, let's look at the current time management processes within organizations. Well, we call it the time Frankenstein, and this is the reality in most businesses. Today, time is fragmented across multiple systems companies have as part of their ecosystem. Businesses have their HCM systems, professional services, automation, ERP, payroll, and a bunch of other mostly legacy systems tracking a small portion of their time. The issue is most of these systems are for single use cases, like the PSA, the professional services automation system, helps track project resources, or the HCM system can track salaried employees well, and they can help with that specific use case, but nothing beyond that. This makes it tedious for businesses to get centralized visibility and control over their enterprise time as a whole, which means that time goes missing when organizations have these disparate systems for managing enterprise-wide time. And these are the points of failure because of that. These traditional point systems for time are not great at collecting time data. They add to the inaccuracy and inconsistency of time data across the organization. There are huge overhead costs associated with managing time with these systems because a lot of human intervention is needed to mold them to business processes. And this lack of accurate data and huge overhead costs mean businesses do not have the ability to understand the true value of time. Which is not surprising, as most businesses do not know what their employee hours are worth or how many employee hours they actually have. Do organizations know how they are spending the enterprise time at their disposal? We do not believe so. A typical 500-person business has 1 million hours in a year. If we pause and ask the question, what did we get for these million hours? Most businesses do not have an answer to that. But if you truly look at it, Time needs to be managed like an asset, just like businesses manage their money and resources. As employee time can cost an organization 60% of their operating expenses. Not having visibility and control over employee time means businesses lack control over 60% of their operating expenses. Replicon wants to help businesses manage their scarcest resource, time, and manage it as an asset with centralized visibility and control. Businesses need to connect time to outcomes produced. They should not have to spend time in collecting the time data, but should be able to analyze, plan, learn, and make changes to drive productivity and profitability using the time intelligence. Businesses need a new way to think about time and need a transformation to manage their time better. They need time intelligence. And this is Replicon's blueprint of our time intelligence platform that will help transform time into an asset. Our customers utilize our time intelligence platform to harvest time from anywhere and on any device, use our intelligent processing to validate, understand, and make time predictions, and also share the time intelligence within their evolving ecosystem. We have pre-built time intelligence products and enterprise solutions that help businesses with every use case there is around time within the enterprise. And we'll look at a few here. So with our time and attendance product, businesses can manage time and labor for their dispersed workforce in real time, apply relevant pay rules, manage compliance, and streamline their entire pre-payroll process. Client billing can help professional services organizations track up to the minute project time, capture billable hours, and efficiently manage resources, projects, clients, and billing. Customers also use us to account for all project status, resources, to manage delivery and project costing, and we also help with time off and expense management. On the enterprise solution side of things, with enterprise time management, Replicon Time Intelligence can help businesses modernize their existing legacy ERP like SAP and Oracle with its purpose-built enterprise-grade time management system and help accelerate ROI. With the global time and gross pay automation, global multi-location organizations streamline their enterprise-wide gross pay operations with a unified platform for time and labor, pay rules, global compliance, and gross pay management at scale. Business operations software for professional services helps services organizations optimize their end-to-end workflow and tie planning, service execution with financial performance to maximize profitability. And businesses can easily use our web services API to connect to their ecosystem and pass on this time knowledge. Our customers also use us for more than 33 different use cases, and here are a few. IT professional services, consulting businesses use us for project billing and resource management. Various industry segments use us to manage employee attendance and compliance. We help nonprofits and education institutes with managing grants to justify the spending. We are able to help shared services departments within big financial, insurance, manufacturing, and education sectors with accurately managing shared service chargebacks. A lot of R&D engineering and manufacturing firms use us to account for R&D tax credits, and oil and gas manufacturing, utilities use us for labor cost capitalization, and so many more industries like that in so many different ways. Our platform is built for rapid adoption and supports time management from anytime, anywhere. We help businesses track bulk hours if needed, if there is need to enter in-out times or clock in and out to activities, we support that. We are also able to support complex client project task structures and have a modern time clock and mobile options to support your diverse workflow requirements and are able to manage approval workflows and customize it to local needs. We are truly global in every sense of the word. The platform is built to handle complex, multi-location, diverse employee types with a global library for compliance and customers spread across 70 plus countries. We support global governance, where you can set policies and privileges at the global level, but also allow local control for you to customize it to local needs. Our platform is built for the future and streamlines time management with the use of advanced technology like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things. And we believe this is the future. Consumer apps are already adapting a lot of these advanced technologies, and we believe enterprises can make the most of it too. Let us see how artificial intelligence can help business transformation. As per studies, error rates for image identification have fallen from about 30% to below 2.5% in the last few years and have overtaken human performance. If you have been paying close attention to your Facebook feed in the last week or so, you would have seen the disclaimer about the ability to recognize your images better and how they are incorporating that into their platform. Replicon has already incorporated these advanced capabilities into our modern time clocks, making them truly intelligent, and also our mobile devices to make access seamless and increase accuracy. Our facial recognition capabilities make our modern time clock that much more intelligent. Employees need not remember their user ID or carry QR codes with them. They can just walk in and get authenticated based on their face. It makes the whole process automated, quick, and seamless. It also makes the punches secure and eliminates buddy punching right at the clock. Also, there are no additional hardware costs. So if you have an iPad, our app can be downloaded and you're ready to go. We also utilize these authentication methods for our mobile and have enabled Touch ID and Face ID on our advanced mobile devices. This keeps the data accuracy high and makes the entire time management process a breeze, making it fast and frictionless. Moving on to the intuitive chatbots, and I'm really excited about the whole chatbots and their potential use cases within an enterprise. We already have Siris, Alexas of the world, and even companies like Starbucks to Lyft are using the chatbot capabilities to enhance their services. They are literally everywhere. How many of you have used them to check out the weather, or to dim your living room lights, or to play your favorite tune? We are boasting of our own intelligent AI-powered chatbot. It is your personal assistant, and you can strike a conversation with it around your time. It is like talking to a colleague. It makes the whole process interactive and takes away the pain associated with it. Businesses are bound to see increases in adoption, data accuracy, and consistency of their time data across the enterprise. With the chatbots, you can empower your employees by turning a mundane task into an interactive activity. Another enhancement that we have been focusing a lot on, especially for the managers and the supervisory staff, is around reducing administrative overheads related to workflows. Most of us already know about Nest and how these smart thermostats make real-time adjustments based on a number of conditions to increase power efficiencies. Google and their proprietary maps are set to become more accurate and efficient, owing to the deep learning technology which is being integrated into the app. I personally use the Google Maps, Google Traffic to decide on the route I should take back home. But every time I need to do that, I need to pull the app up and check it right before the junction where I need to decide which route I would be taking. Google has been learning from it, obviously, and it has started throwing a notification just a little before I reach the junction, reducing the overhead for me to open the app and check it. Similarly, Replicon has been investing in making approvals and business workflows work in a way to increase efficiencies. Our advanced business process workflows can be tailored to any business requirement you may have. The approval router can be decided in real time based on data validations and exceptions. This reduces the overhead on approvers to manage the routing and helps them make informed decisions with relevant information at their fingertips. For example, if you want approvers to just get exception timesheets, whatever those exceptions maybe, you can decide based on your organization needs. You can set your workflow so that so that, or if you want to manage overtime based on specific thresholds, you can set a specific routing based on the overtime threshold to route timesheets to specific approvers based on the overtime hours on those timesheets. Or if you have different approvers for different time off types, you can create a custom routing and the system learns and reacts in real time. This advanced configurability on the platform enabled by the advanced technologies and machine learning helps businesses optimize their review process and keeps the overall overhead low. With this, I hand it over to Rajiv for a quick demo. It's the part of the webinar that all of you have been waiting for. Over to you, Rajiv.
Thanks, Vivek. I'm just going to share my screen out. Okay, Vivek, could you just let me know if you're able to see my iPhone screen open?
Yes, Rajiv, I'm able to see your Replicon bot.
Perfect. Thank you, Vivek. So just to give the team some background, like Vivek had mentioned earlier, what Replicon's really focusing on as an organization is the ability for users to be able to capture time non-intrusively. And there's a couple of different methods and mechanisms that we've exposed in order for us to be able to achieve this. One of them is our Replicon Intelligent Bot. What's very helpful about this, like Vivek had described, is that we can actually get an intelligent assistant to be able to complete some of these mundane tasks, such as time entry. And what everybody's looking at the moment is the Replicon mobile app, along with all of the other existing functionality that your team may be used to today, the ability to review timesheets, review understanding approvals, or more importantly, just have the bot do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So what's very helpful about this bot is that I can actually type in whatever request I'd like. If I were to type in hello as an example, it will give me a list of all of the commands that I can go ahead and enter. And I can also just use text to speech on my phone to be able to help manage this. So as an example, I'm interested in entering hours for today. I'm going to ask my bot to do that. Enter hours for today. Let's say enter hours. There we go. So now the bot's going to ask me how many hours would you like to enter? 8 hours. So now what the assistant is doing is it's actually informing me how many hours I have entered on my timesheet for this particular week. In this case, I don't have any entries, and now it's asking me, would I like to complete the 8 hours for today? Yes. So now that the bot has added that time in for me, it's actually asking me, would you like me to review the time entries for this week? Yes. So now what it's doing is it's actually taking me directly into my timesheet. And remember that any of the configurations that has been set up on the Replicon platform, this is going to mirror. So this includes things like payroll information, as we're able to see here at the bottom. If I'd like to preview that and ensure it's accurate and correct prior to submission, I can absolutely do so. I can also understand all of the previous entries entered for that particular time period. If there is any other commentary that I'd like to be able to specify, I can go ahead and do so as well. So the intelligent assistant is a very good way for me to be able to interact with the system without having to do a lot of this heavy lifting on my own. And as I'm doing this, the assistant is actually learning in real time. So the longer I use the assistant, it's actually going to start having some predictive outcomes. It's going to start learning patterns. It's going to start understanding things like I've constantly been working on things and as a result make some suggestions. So this is really tying into the machine learning and artificial intelligence messaging that Vivek was describing earlier. I can also manage my team's timesheets by leveraging this assistance as well. Approve timesheets. So now the bot actually indicates that there's one pending timesheet approval. I'm going to go ahead and approve it. Yes. So other than me just going over to the approval screen, if there's a number of approvals that are already outstanding, I can just have the bot do it. And as we're able to see, we've now completed that. There's no outstanding approvals. And I still have all of the accessibility I require to review any of my historical timesheets for my team. So as everyone's able to see, the Replicon app not only empowers your end users to be able to enter time very seamlessly and quickly by leveraging that intelligent assistant, but also the approvers to be able to manage their team effectively by interacting with that assistant as well. So the other part of today's overview that I'd like to review for the team is the facial recognition on Cloud Clock. This is also what Vivek was describing earlier. So part of Replicon's strategy to help ensure that users no longer have to interact with traditional time clocks is what we call facial recognition. And as everyone's able to see, the system can actually start learning who that individual or that employee is. And as we're able to see here, it's identified myself, Rajiv. Hi, everyone. I can actually indicate that I'm going to go ahead and take my break as an example. This image will be sent off to my supervisor. But what's very helpful about facial recognition on Cloud Clock is that it's learning all of your employees' faces. And this is a very helpful way for me to be able to identify myself on the clock. So what we've traditionally heard with existing time clocks is that when we're dealing with biometrics, then in scenarios such as mining or construction, people's fingers start getting dirty. It's difficult for it to read the fingerprints effectively. QR code or proximity code sensors, people start to forget their badges. So what's very unique about this facial recognition technology is that it prevents the need for users to have to interact with clocks using any one of those traditional methods. We can simply allow employees to walk up to the clocks, and the clocks can then identify the staff as well. And remember that all of these images and GPS coordinates of the clocks will still be sent off to the supervisors in real time as well. So this is another way as to how Replicon is empowering users within the organization to be able to not have to interact with any hardware, and its time capture being completely non-intrusive and seamless as well. Okay, now, the other thing I wanted to also review in a little bit detail was what Vivek was describing earlier in regards to what we call intelligent routing. So why is this important for any of our customers? There's a number of customers that have benefited tremendously by this because we've very frequently heard that approvers are inundated with tedious requests. So if there's timesheets that are submitted without any overtime incurred as an example, and we want the ability to simply approve them, if there is no exceptions or overtime incurred, then so be it. And if there are scenarios where supervisors need to be involved, if there's overtime managed on the actual timesheet, we can expose that capability as well. So really the purpose of this is so that we're getting rid of a lot of the noise that your approvers have to deal with, and we're only bringing items of importance to their attention when it's required. Another very common example is that if the supervisor or approver is away for any reason and they were unable to approve the timesheet, this is hindering financial reporting or payroll processing. So perhaps we wanted to have it escalated off to the next individual after a certain elapsed time. We can indicate what that elapsed time is after 24 hours, 12 hours as an example, whatever metric I'd like to define here. So this will automatically escalate itself to the appropriate individual. So perhaps if the direct manager is not available, it'll go off to a director and then off to a VP, so on and so forth. But this way we can ensure that only the appropriate individuals are involved in approving the time in the system. More importantly as well, some other scenarios that we can easily accommodate are things around project budgets. So if users are incurring time on jobs as an example, and if the budget is getting close to completion, or like Vivek had described, grant managing scenario, if the grant amount has been burnt down by a certain amount and you want to have it go through special approval routing when we're getting close to depleting the funds on that grant or budget, that's also something that this intelligent routing can take into account. And this doesn't only apply for timesheets, but this also applies for other metrics in the system as well, such as leave requests. So maybe if it's within a certain time period, it's going to go down one approval route. But if it's more than 5 days or 6 days of sick time, then it needs to go off to somebody else for approval. Perhaps the direct supervisor initially, but anything over a 5-day sick time duration will go off to the HR manager. These are the types of things that we can also take into account when it comes to leave management. And similar logic on expenses as well. So as your employees incur expenses, and expenses can be anything we need them to be, travel expenses, internal expenses, reimbursable, billable or non-billable expenses, perhaps we'd like to have it go through a different routing approval based on the expense amounts that are specified. If certain expenses exceed per diems or exceeds the budget on projects like I was talking about earlier, then it needs to go through some special type of approval routing. These are all things that your team can easily accommodate on our intelligent routing platform. So thank you, everybody. That was it for my part. I'm actually going to pass it back to Vivek.
Thank you, Rajiv, for that wonderful demo. I want to make sure that you guys are still able to see my screen.
We can see Vivek.
Great. As I mentioned before, Replicon's vision is to make time management as non-intrusive as possible. And we believe the best way to manage time as an asset is to create an environment where employees need not track time at all. Imagine a day when the AI-enabled platform pings an employee with his timesheet and on his consent checks for exceptions to approve it and knows which compliance rules or billing rates need to be applied, presenting the finance and payroll teams with what the payroll runs or invoices would look like. We believe that day is not far, and we have started on that journey. Organizations will be managing their people time and get centralized visibility and control, making the most out of their millions of hours at their disposal if they start considering time as an enterprise asset. Many organizations are already utilizing our advanced capabilities to gain control of their enterprise time and in the process achieve competitive advantage. This is a marquee list of some of our customers. You will see that we have organizations across the globe, across industry segments of all sizes, which talks to the extreme in-product configurability and our ability to do global as well as meet local requirements across the globe. Our customers reap benefit across the enterprise utilizing this advanced platform. And we have seen our customers talk about how they were able to increase employee productivity, tremendous increases in time data accuracy, administrative efficiencies, and reductions in labor costs and revenue leakages. For every time management need within an enterprise, more than 8,000 businesses are already leveraging Replicon. Here we talk about a couple of our customers who have benefited from our advanced platform. DeVry University, they had an antiquated system for managing time and gross pay, but they were severely affected because of the frequent errors and bouts of downtime. And their goal was to manage gross pay accurately and in a timely manner, but they were spending too much of their payroll time managing this stuff. And they realized that this disrupted their payroll process a lot, and they could not let this go on if they wanted to run their business smoothly. So they worked with Replicon. We worked with in close partnership with them in optimizing the way they were running their payroll, and they got huge administrative efficiency. So we were able to reduce close to 20 hours of administrative overhead per payroll period for them, and help them concentrate on core tasks, and simplified their internal audit process with our reliable data. The second customer we'll talk about is Blackboard, which is an enterprise IT technology vendor, and they were using an on-prem system, but the issue was it was not keeping up with the growth, and it was not scalable, and it was not able to manage the varying use cases within the organization. Their goal was to improve operational efficiency and resource management, which they were not able to do effectively because of inaccurate data, cumbersome processes, and lack of overall insight into future project planning. So with Replicon, they were able to increase this growth potential. They've been able to look at their project tasks, attribute them out effectively to R&D tax credits and manage the whole R&D tax credit process in an effective manner and spending much lesser time. And then they have also been able to make strategic decisions around resource management and improve forecasting and overall project execution, and reduced their liability risks around R&D tax credits.